Welcome to Face It with Cindy Mack. We're so excited about this webinar, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to someone that I greatly admire. She's been a mentor for over 2 decades in my life, and I'm privileged to now call her a friend. With over 3 decades of experience as a dynamic sales leader, Cindy Mack has not only built a thriving career, but has also empowered countless others to do the same. As the inspiring leader of a team that spans over 300 consultants nationwide, Cindy's success is rooted in her extraordinary ability to form authentic, meaningful connections. You'll see for yourself today. She has a gift of recognizing people's strengths and understanding their unique temperaments, which really has allowed her to teach us how to connect on a deeply personal level. She's featured as a sought-after speaker at events across the nation. She's traveled the globe as a mentor and a top leader in her programs. And her passion for helping individuals uncover their strengths and refine their communication styles has fueled her coaching success, guiding many towards personal and professional growth. Her mission now is to take her trainings to support people outside of network marketing, coaching anyone who leads a team who would thrive from mastering strong connections within their organization, whatever that organization is. In today's webinar, Cindy's going to show us her secrets to connecting more effectively with your purpose, connecting with your audience, and connecting with your circle of influence, whether that is your team, your family, or really any organization. Get ready for an empowering session that will inspire you to lead with clarity, confidence, and authenticity. Let's hear from Cindy Mack.
Well, what an introduction. I really am looking forward to sharing this content with you. Welcome. Please comment. I will check those afterwards, but definitely ask questions, comment, and you can visit my website if you just at the end go, I still have more questions, and you can schedule a one-on-one free consultation with me if you want to, because let me tell you something. This content here is something that I have invested more time in this kind of arena of coaching and information than I ever have in anything I've ever done, because I know what it's done for me. And so that's why I really am looking forward to sharing it with you so that you can really move in your superpowers. I know it's really opened my eyes to the things that and clarity to what I should be doing. And I just want to pass it on. So now I think innately everybody knows certain things that they're good at and activities that they're drawn to, especially if you've been complimented in these areas throughout your life. I mean, I know that we innately know these, but I feel like we don't know how to, or I can speak for myself and the people that I have worked with, is that it's really hard to actually maximize them to the greater impact and productivity that we want. And that's where the disconnect is. And we get stuck. And I think sometimes we don't even realize certain things are a superpower. So there's 3 components that I am going to hit on today that really do play into our superpower and kind of what we need to do to figure it out. Okay. So, and I'm kind of getting sidetracked. So just bear with me because I've got like all this digital stuff. Okay. So let me tell you the 3 things first, and then we'll dive right in and I'll kind of give you some examples as we go. All right. And this is going to be short and sweet because I want to give you some nuggets to think about and work on, especially some of these things are things that you can do on your own. And some are things that you go, no, I want to go deeper. All right. So first, number 1, the 3 things we're going to cover. Number 1 is that you actually have to know what your strengths are. What are my superpowers? Again, a lot of times these things come so natural to you that you don't even realize that you're superpowers. So that's the first thing, is you've got to know what they are. The second thing is finding your passion that is kind of your driver. This is what drives you to actually use your strengths when it's not comfortable or when things get really hard. Okay. Again, now this is, I guess it's adding the super to your power, if you think of it that way, because we can say, all right, I know that these are my strengths and like, how do I use them? And a lot of times I start things and I don't finish. So how do you keep going? And that is, again, key in order for you to really maximize. And then lastly, clarifying your why. Yes, that word why. I know we've heard it so many times before, but this is going to make it easier to determine what areas to work and grow in and what direction that you want to take your life or your business. For me, truly the turning point was not any single book or course or even assessment, but it was when I understood how to apply the things I was learning and reading. Because you can read your assessment. This is what I find a lot of people do. I work with Strength Finders and Enneagram. There's a lot of great assessments, and I have loved a lot of them along the way. These two, I feel like, are two that anybody, any layman, can read it and kind of get a pretty good feel of the direction they go on. And that's where a lot of people stop. Well, I dove deeper because, see, Strength Finders, if you think about it, when I took the Strength Finders test and I looked at my top 5 strengths, I looked at them and I really felt like a lot of them were more like my temperament. They were more like qualities that I had, and I didn't see them as strengths. I mean, even if you read the description of them, they just felt like qualities. And so how do I take these qualities and actually make them like a strength that I would use in a job or a business or even a relationship, right? So once I started to look at them differently, and I went, okay, if these are actually strengths, well, they call them talents until you invest in them. They're not strengths until you invest in them. That's the other half of it. But when I started to dig deeper in the meaning of all of these, that's when I went, oh my gosh, this is why this isn't working for me. This is why I keep resisting this particular path or career level or type of relationship. Or the type of leadership. It's because of these things. Like, it was so crazy. And that's where, when I'm working with my clients, I see the same thing. So what happens is they look at this and like, okay, yeah, this is great, but I don't really understand what to do with it. And we can read and read and read, but sometimes we need another set of eyes. We need somebody else that sees something in you and pulls it out of you. And that's where my coaching comes in. And again, everybody has different superpowers. Mine actually is being able to see people's strengths, watch them for a little bit, talk with them, interact, read these assessments, and then be able to like nail it and pull stuff out of them they didn't even have. And so when I started to work with people in this way, in the small groups, and then one-on-one with the combination of the small groups, oh my gosh, it was so good. See, taking in the information, getting stuck, we start to get in this crazy cycle. And until you really personalize it, and that's where I take an assessment and I actually personalize it. And so let's talk through this. I want to see now if I can figure out how to use the technology that I have here. Okay. So I've told you, really connecting with yourself first, understanding your identity in these 3 ways: your strengths, your drivers, and then clarifying your why. Your why is what's going to, well, the driver is what's going to keep you going, and the why is going to give you direction. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at these 3 things: your assessments using strengths and Enneagrams, your drivers, and your core values. Okay. Your strengths are how you do what you do. And we need to figure out how to, and show you how to read your strengths. I'm going to go over that in a second. Strategy categories, your strengths fall under these strategy categories. There's balconies, there's basements, and how they all work together. See, so there's a lot more to these than just going in and looking at it. Again, you can look at it. I'm going to give you some ways that you can do it on your own, but going into all of these other things is what I do when I work with groups or with my clients that I coach. Okay. I moved these around. It says step 1, step 3, step 2. It's supposed to be step 2, step 3. So whatever. All right. So your drivers is, what is your greatest need that drives your decisions and motivations? And then your core values, why you do what you do. What do you guard in your heart? What gives you peace and joy? What can't you live without? What drives you crazy? Okay, so those are kind of giving you an explanation of these 3 points. All right, so let's go into strengths. Let me get back to here. Okay, so let's talk about strengths, and let me kind of go through. Let's see. Okay, so let me back up. I want to kind of stay with my little rhythm here. All right, so your superpower is not just your sweet spot or your giftings. It's the whole package. Okay, you flow when you have all of this. You're flowing in the right, and when you're flowing in the right arena with the right people doing what you do best, that's when you soar. Again, that's when you get the super with the power. Okay. Now, you could be doing what you do best in the wrong arena with the wrong people and never be super powerful. Aligning with your true identity includes the people that you connect with and the places you go. So a lot of times, again, you may know yourself and you may go, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. But what if you're aligned with the wrong people in the wrong arena? Because those things actually are part of the discovery of who you are and your true identity. And this was another missing link for me. What I didn't realize is a lot of times I couldn't walk in my true identity or my superpower because I was connected with the wrong people in the wrong places sometimes. And that plays a toll on you, right? So now let's talk about your strengths. All right. So we're going to go through these 3 areas. The first one being your strengths. Now I'm going to use an example. So one of my clients, this is a perfect example. Just the other day I was coaching with her and she kept saying, and we've been working together for a long time and we've come a long way, like a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of really good things. But when it comes back to really being clear about her identity, because I have everybody make an identity statement, because again, when you put all of this in a statement, it is always your guide. Now, it'll always be refining and tweaking and all of that, but it really does become your guide. Well, let me kind of tell you what I said to her. I go, okay, so what are your top 5 strengths? And so she had to look them up. So that's a first red flag to me because I can rattle mine off like this because, again, I've been studying it and working with it and understand the dynamic and flow of them and how they all work together. So she looked them up and she told me what they are: futuristic, relator, restorative, achiever, belief. Now, if you've never done Strength Finders, so many people say, oh yeah, I did it years ago. I don't know where it is. I didn't understand it. Or, so maybe some of you have been working with it for a while. Great. This Strength Finders, there's 33 million in 1 chance that you will have the same top 5 strengths as somebody else. Okay. It is a very refined, amazing tool if you know how to use it. So many people don't know how to use it. Or like, let's say one of your strengths is belief. So a lot of people think that the strength belief means that you have a lot of faith, that you can believe in people because you just have it in you to be able to believe in people and their potential. No, that's not what it means. Belief means that what you do has to have meaning. It has to align with your beliefs. There has to be a deeper meaning and a purpose in what you're doing. You just aren't good at just doing a job. There has to be meaning. That's what it means. I know it's kind of weird. Consistency. Some people have that as a strength, and they think that consistency means that they are a very consistent person, that they are like that steady, you work consistently, you're really good at that. No, consistency actually means that you believe in fairness, equal rights, consistent rules and opportunity for everyone. You tend to fight for the underdog. You fight for rights. And that's what consistency means. So if you don't really truly understand some of their definitions, that's one example of how people don't use them the right way. So let's go back to this particular client. So in looking at those 5 strengths and in working with her for a while, again, I pick up on things. I said to her, listen, this is your identity right here. You're a visionary. Okay, so she's futuristic, relator, restorative. You can write these down if you want to, so you hear what I'm saying. Achiever, belief. Futuristic, relator, restorative, achiever, belief. So I said, here's the description of you. You're a visionary. You are able to see what's possible and the future for a group of people because you're a relator. You're someone that has to bring people along with you who really want to be there. You care deeply about empowering these people to see this vision and to go with you. You're a problem solver as restorative. You see the obstacles, you see what's not working, and you're able to fix it because as a restorative, you fix things. You're able to go, oh no, here's how we should do it. This is why it's not working. And you're able to overcome these obstacles. You're very organized. You work with a plan and tasks. That's what achievers do. They have a checklist. They can see, here's how we're going to get there. Here's the plan. This is what we're going to do. And you're going to do this. And here's where you fit in. This is when she's working at her best. She includes people that way, leads them versus manages them. And then with your belief, there is a meaning and a purpose behind what you're doing. You are going somewhere. You're not just doing something, but you literally are going to make a difference with this team, with this plan, and overcoming these obstacles. You're going to take people with you. That's who you are. Well, I have chills right now. And she, after I read this, she was like, oh my God. And I'm like, now, that may not be the story right now today, but that's your identity. That's how God made you. It gets me emotional every time that I work with people at that level, because what I know is that they're trapped in a crazy cycle, trapped in past experiences and beliefs that aren't true. They're not real. They're just experiences you've had. God made you in a certain way to do a certain thing. And unless we clarify that, we stay in using our strengths as a lot of times in the basement, as halfway, not as the maximized, powerful thing that they are. We're really just doing it on winging it on just natural sheer talent versus a strength because you've invested in it and you've guided it. Okay. So now with knowing that, let's now look at drivers. Okay. So drivers, now again, and I do want to say one next thing for about strengths is that a lot of times we don't recognize certain things as strengths because they come so natural to you. And a lot of times you get frustrated with other people. You're like, oh my gosh, like she's so sloppy. She's so unorganized. Blah, blah, blah. Well, they don't have your organization gift. They just don't. They're not wired that way. See, I really believe that this whole path of superpower ultimately is to have better relationships and connections. I'm all about authentic connections, better relationships. So you have greater impact on people, on the future, on your family, and all the people that you are to be involved with. This comes first. You have to get yourself right first, right? And so let's move to drivers. Okay, some of you, again, you may have seen these things been taught before in a really small scale, but let's go a little bit deeper with what these drivers mean and why this information is so valuable. The first one I have listed here is love and belonging. If that's you, you're someone that really loves to be a part of something bigger than yourself. You really love to work as a team. You're a great team player. You'll do more for the team than you would for yourself any day. So if the team is going in a certain direction, you're like rallying in. If they're not, and there isn't a lot of direction or great leadership, then you kind of wander and find somewhere you could be a part of something that can feel like you're making a difference in a group. And so a lot of times you're drawn to causes, you're drawn to a big goal that a team is working towards. And when you aren't, again, I'm going to tell you the good side, that brings the best out in you when you're in that atmosphere. When you're not in that environment, you're floundering. It's really hard for you to get motivated to do anything, right? These are our drivers. So you have to find the environment and the people that will put you in that position so that you can do your best. Okay. The next driver is power and achievement. These people need to be winning. They really love competition. They love growth. They love breaking records. These people, now we can have, like, I am definitely driven. I love winning and I love setting goals. It's not my ultimate motivator though. I don't have to break records. I don't necessarily have to be number one. I just want to be winning in some capacity. I want to feel like I'm always challenging myself and I want a sense of accomplishment. So I'm not really power and achievement. So that's how you know the difference of somebody who is and somebody who's just a driven person. Power and achievement is like, oh no, they break records. If they're not breaking records, if something doesn't set them apart and it's not like this big challenge, they are big thinkers. They have to be winning big. Okay. So that's power and achievement. If they're not in an environment where they can win big, they will find an environment that they can do that in. All right. The next is fun and pleasure. Fun and pleasure. I have a friend who constantly is going on vacation. I'm like, how do you work? How do you win and work and achieve like you do? She's like, if I'm not traveling and I'm not on a beach every few weeks or doing something fun, I can't work. I can't win. It actually makes her better. So if someone says, stop taking vacations, stop getting away, for a fun and pleasure person, you're not going to get productivity out of them. They have to constantly have something fun to look forward to, a fun way of doing work or a getaway, so that when they come back, they're full steam and they'll do 10 times more when they have that built into their schedule in their life than if they don't. Okay. Fun and pleasure. The next one is freedom and choice. Freedom and choice is somebody who says, I do not work well under restraint, where I feel confined in a box. I don't have choices and options. I need choices. And so this is not somebody who is like willy-nilly with their schedule. Again, these are at your best when you're in an environment like this and you have the freedom to be able to work when you want to, how you want to, that you can. Again, another example, freedom and choice, is money. Is if your budget is tight or you don't have money or you don't have the freedom to be able to do things because you don't have money, that will make you crazy and you'll actually work harder to get that freedom than if you everything was flowing great. You've got to have this like craving for this, and you have to have hope that you're going to be able to be free and have choices, and it's a constant ebb and flow. Okay. So when you've got somebody who is freedom and choice and they're under a lot of rules, a lot of restrictions, a lot of expectations of other people versus how they want to do it, it is, you go crazy. Like, that's how you can know if it's you, because if you don't have it, you're like, yeah, right? You have to have it in order to be able to move forward, and you will do whatever it takes to get it. And a lot of times the negative part of that will drive you so that you can get that freedom. All right. And the last one is safety and security. These are people who, a 401k and insurance and a steady income is really important to them. They really want things. They'll do things for their family to keep their family safe and secure. And so their motivation is to do something to give them that safety and security. When they don't have it, they don't work well. And unless they know that if they do this, this, and this, they will get safety and security, then they'll run like never before. Okay. So it'll drive you if you feel there's a hope to get what drives you, and a restraint if you feel like you can't. And you will go and find it somewhere else if you can't in that environment. That's why your environment, your people, all those things are super important. Okay, let's do the last one, which is your values. All right, so are things kind of clicking a little bit with you? I hope so. Again, ask questions. Your core values. Now, this is another thing that we hear a lot, and a lot of times we're like, I don't get it. Like, I know what is important to me, but like, what's a different? I don't understand. Okay, so here we go. It's important to understand that the distinction between core beliefs and core values. Okay. Core beliefs is the long-term, deeply held convictions we have about ourselves, others, and the world. Okay. So it's what we believe about certain things. Your beliefs can change with more information, a change of environment, etc. You can change your beliefs, but your core values, like this is different. Okay. Your core values, they tend to govern concepts like honesty or success. They are things that really just kind of make you tick, and without them, there isn't peace and joy. You have to have, now, they're not all things like this honesty and, integrity and all that. Some of them, like one of my core values is humor. Like I have to have fun. I have to have laughter. It is so important to me having a life I love. And that's where core values come in. It's defines kind of the environment and the things that you need in your life so that you can function well. Where core beliefs are kind of like what you believe about something. Okay. And when you combine that together, that's where it can get a little cloudy. See, because so core beliefs are the long-term, deeply held convictions we have about ourselves and others and the world, and core values, which are the measures we use to attribute worth and find meaning in our lives. Okay. That's the difference. See, these are how we determine if our relationships, work, and day-to-day decisions feel right and true to who we are and how we want to live. That's how you measure it, with your core values. That's how you find your why. See, core values help us define our boundaries. They help us to understand how to prioritize what truly matters to us. And they're the compass that help guide our decision-making. And while values can stay somewhat consistent over the course of lifetime, they might become more specific as we develop into our true selves. So that's why all of these combined make such a difference. Have you ever heard of cognitive dissonance? Cognitive congruence is when what you think and what you believe align with your words and your actions. Okay, see, what have you ever heard, like, out of our heart flows the wellspring of life? So what we believe comes out in us, in our words and our actions. If that doesn't happen, and you're saying something different than what's in your heart, that's cognitive dissonance. You can't function that way. So it's very important that you define these core values and make it very clear, because have you ever been in a situation or environment where you're like, I don't feel good about this. I don't know why, but I just don't feel good about this. It's because you haven't clearly defined your core values in order to set up boundaries, so that you then make better decisions, so that when you feel off, you know why. Sometimes we know why, and we're just doing something we shouldn't be doing, but our why comes from there. So it's really, really important that we get this right. It's so important, because what happens is, let me kind of switch over here, is that we wander, and we make life harder than it has to be. And so what I'm going to share now with you is an option. I gave you some things to think about, and absolutely you can take some of these and really dig into the workbook and really work on some things personally. But if you want to be part of these pods, now the reason why I created these pods are these small groups of women, of about 6 to 8 women that are probably about in the same place in their life. And I work as a group so that you all can learn from each other, draw from each other's experiences. Everybody is Enneagrams and strengths are different. So you really kind of learn people and interaction. And I do a lot of observation. So all this information can transfer into relationships. You have better connections because you start to learn about that too. But then I do a lot of one-on-one coaching outside of the group. So let me explain it to you really quick. Where's my little thing here? All right. So here we go. Okay, so here's what you get. I'm going to tell you the value of what you get, and then the real special price that you're going to get it at if you want to do it. Okay, so Bi-monthly coaching, group coaching on a Zoom for 90 days would normally be at a value, the going cost of this would be $900, okay? And this is for 3 months of every other week, getting on a Zoom, getting group coaching, education, interaction, etc. Okay, so that's for 3 months. So that's one of the things you get. And then every other week, what I do is I will do a video, which is kind of the next thing here. Let me just kind of go ahead and move to that. Okay, so every other week I do a video, and it's like a course. And so you would be able to watch the videos. And then I do one-on-one back and forth voice messaging with you for that one-on-one coaching as you're working through the work. Okay, as you're doing the work and the exercises I give you, then we go back and forth. You're not alone. In fact, I had originally launched this when did I do? The beginning of the year, the end of last year, beginning of this year. And I've been doing this a long time with another group. But as I launched it, I totally undervalued it because I do a lot of one-on-one. I just believe in customization. I like individualization. I can't just cookie cutter. It's just not in me. And so that value is well over $1,000 because I'm one-on-one coaching you for 3 months. And then you're getting the training on top of that, which is about a $400 value because I'm doing these courses with you guys as well for 3 months. And then on top of that, you have access to the ranch retreat. So you get to come out to my ranch. This is optional. You don't have to, but if you wanted to do it, only people who participated in a pod can come out to it. And the value of this retreat is well over $12.99, but you have the option and to be able to take part in that. And you're getting a network of these women that you'll be able to meet and connect with. The total value of this would normally be about $35.99. But right now, launching in May is going to be a new pod. And you could be either on the wait list or you can be a part of it. It's $149 a month. That's normally what it costs for a 1-hour coaching session one-on-one. You're getting all of that for $149 a month for those 3 months. The way that you go about being a part of it is you fill out the profile form, you set up a private Zoom with me, and then you get connected into the community that you're going to be with, the group of women, like I said, 6 to 8 women. Now, let me kind of stop this screen share. Okay, so here's the thing, you guys. If you want to, definitely, you can go on my website or in the email that you're going to get the workbook. You're also going to get a link. If you need to just talk to me and say, Cindy, this kind of sounds cool, but I'm not too sure, then schedule a time with me. I'm totally cool with that. And because sometimes you got to get, your feelers, right? If you want to just say, oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for, then absolutely sign up. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be great. You can cancel at any time. Cancel at any time. You guys, this is my calling. This is what I love. I have a real hard time with the whole, the charging. What do I charge? I don't know. I know my time. I put a lot into it. And so I just really want to give back. I'm really excited about this season of life. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you got something out of it regardless. And let's connect. I look forward to it. Thank you.